Tempers flared as Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese went head-to-head in their season debut. In the third quarter, Reese pushed Natasha Howard under the basket to bring in a rebound, and Clark, pointing at the missed call on Howard, reached in hard for the ball, smacking Reese's arm in the process. Reese then reacted, and both Reese and Fever star Leah Boston assessed technical fouls for that scuffle. Caitlin was assessed for a flagrant foul for that. And here's Caitlin and Angel on what went down.
Let's not make it anything that it's not. It was just a good play on the basketball. I'm not sure what the refs saw to upgrade it, and that's up to their discretion. It's a take foul to put them at the free throw line or rather give up 2 points. You know, I've watched a lot of basketball in my life. That's exactly what it was. I wasn't trying to do anything malicious. That's not the type of player I am.
Angel, can you take us through the flagrant foul from your perspective? Just what you saw in that play, how you interpreted what happened.
Basketball play, refs got it right. Move on.
Monica McNutt joining the conversation. Great to have you. Chiney, I'll start with you.
Hey, SA.
Hey, were Clark or Reese in the wrong there?
Neither were in the wrong because this was a heat of the moment situation. And I want to take a second to laugh at Aaliyah Boston, who was like, how did I get caught up in the sauce? Get a technical for playing peacemaker in this. But still, I want us to look at the play because it's very important. This happens in basketball all the time. So Angel Reese pushes Natasha Howard in the back, which angers Caitlin, and Caitlin gives a no free buckets foul with some extra sauce on it, which correctly gets assessed as a technical for Angel's response to that, which any player that gets hit like that. I used to do this all the time. I turn around, you know, I once got messed up with because it was Brittany Griner.
Be careful.
You got to be careful. But you have these heat of the moment emotional reactions on both sides that understood, all right, this is a basketball play, which, by the way, this happened not just in this game, multiple games. All right, I was in Barclays Center for the Liberty, this situation between Jonquel Jones and Chelsea Gray. Things got tangled up, hands were flying, people were stepping to each other, huffing and puffing. The game went on. Then, yesterday, I drove down to Mohegan Sun. And what happened at Mohegan Sun? There was a situation with Diaby and then also Shakira Austin. You know, big, tough post player backing up. Shakira pushed Marina Mabry. Marina was very mad that she got assessed the technical because she was defending her teammate. This happens in the WNBA. The WNBA is what a lot of people celebrate the NBA for embracing right now. It's a physical league. Now, this had gasoline because it had two megastar players, household names. But my number one theory is if the players are unbothered, we should be too.
Nailed it. I continue to say that this is competition. And obviously, if we were in this setting and no buckets allowed, foul somebody, it would be a problem because we are outside of the parameters of basketball. And so this is an emotional experience. It is a high-level experience. These women are competitive. I think the refs adjudicated it correctly. I do think I'm with Chiney. I do think there was a little extra sauce on this one in terms of having your teammates back. But to me, again, this falls under the guise of competition, and y'all got to let these women compete.
SA?
Y'all finished? Y'all finished?
Sure are.
Yes, sir.
Help me out, ladies. I would appreciate the education from the both of you. Does Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have any love or like for one another at all?
Respect.
Yeah, they have respect.
That ain't what I asked. I know what the difference. I think I know the difference. You understand? Just like when you was at Upfronts, Eminem, telling folks, I know how to read. You understand? Say, I know you understand.
Get that in the house.
No. It's cool. It's all in fun. It's all in love. But what I'm saying is that you know the difference. I did not say respect. I said love or like. They have it?
I think we saw a glimpse of it last year at the WNBA All-Star Game. Wow, amazing. They got it. Like, this was one of the most fun moments that we were able to witness in women's basketball.
Janae, respectfully, I asked you a yes or no question. I mean, I just asked. I didn't ask for all of that. I'm asking you because I know you know. Yes, so I know you two know. I'm asking a direct question.
I do know both of these ladies, and I have spoken to them, and it is hard to negotiate the spaces that they're in with the heat of the moment from college to pros.
You don't even know where I'm going. How come I can't get an answer?
Okay. I'm just saying you don't have to be friends with someone to be able to respect someone. But go ahead.
Right. I would never imply that they don't respect one another. I am asking you because I know you two know. You cover the sport exceptionally well. I'm asking a question. All I asked for was an answer. Are y'all going to answer me or not? Do they like each other or not?
I think they would say they like each other.
I would say, to
No
my
problem.
knowledge.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem. We're going to go with that. This was a basketball play. You understand? It was the heat of the moment. I got it. The fact that the Sky was getting romped by 35 certainly didn't help matters. I get all of that too, okay? But the reality of the situation is clear. I think it was a basketball play. I don't think it's much ado about anything. I think both of you are 100% correct in terms of not only attributing it to competition, but loving the fact that they're being allowed to compete. We should not judge women competing against one another differently than we would judge the men. I got y'all back on that. You ain't got to worry about that. Ain't no let nobody gonna do that.
But
All right?
Can I ask a
coming.
question? Or you have more to say, Stephen?
I was saying, is that it? 'Cause
This is trending yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So I want to know from the two of you, is this trending news because it's women being physical?
No,
or
it's 'cause of them.
Let me just call it what it is, a black and a white player.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's because people project what they want on each of them, and those are subjective ideas that they're projecting. If you're going and have this narrative that has been falsely built that people want to do certain things to Caitlin or do certain things to Angel, you're gonna take that moment and validate your opinion even though it's false. So like to me,
So it's confirmation bias.
Yeah, it's confirmation. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Let me answer that one. It's not about black and white. It's about that white player and that black player. Why? Because of the history that they had before they came to the WNBA. You see, it was all instigated. If Angel Reese was never in Caitlin Clark's face, taunting her the way that she did when mimicking what Caitlin Clark was doing to numerous opponents en route to the Final Four, and then Angel Reese and LSU bust their living you-know-what at that particular moment in time, and Angel Reese was in her face chirping at her the way that she did, it would have never gotten to this point. But I have never deemed that to be a bad thing. I love that kind of confrontation. I love that kind of heat. But there are white folks in America that had a problem with Angel Reese coming at the chosen one, Caitlin Clark, that way. And because of that, they acted with a level of vitriol. How do we know that? Because Angel Reese came back to college the following year. And one of the things that reduced her to tears was the vitriol that she was receiving from around the country because people were hating on her because of her elevated popularity and the fact that she had gone at Caitlin Clark that way. So now we come to the WNBA. No fault of Caitlin's at all. But in the end, because of her greatness and because people were resistant to accepting her greatness the way in which I have articulated on many occasions, you have people using that as an excuse to throw vitriol at other people. But in the end, here's what I say. That's contributed to Angel Reese becoming a household name, according to along with the fact she's a rebounding demon. The girl she grabs the rebound, she can play, but that's elevated her level of popularity. And what I would say to all of y'all is this: as a person that's covered the NBA and grew up watching the NBA, no matter how great Michael Jordan was, obviously, it started with Bird versus Magic. Yeah, you could talk about Showtime versus Boston, but that white superstar losing in that national championship game to that dude called Magic at Michigan State when he was at Indiana State, and then ultimately coming into the NBA, and they constantly met in the finals about 3 times, and they owned most of the 80s in terms of the two teams respectively. The bottom line is it contributed to elevating the popularity.
Yeah.
So Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, embrace this. It's okay.
Yeah, I think
Because all y'all do is competing.
Yeah, really quick. I think as much as sports are community, right? There are also some lines that carry through sports in terms of our cultural experience in this country, right? And I'm with you, S.A. There are differences in these two women, how they show up, the folks that are diehard fans of theirs, and I think it's all fine. My ask in all of this is just respect as a base level, right? Respect both of these women as athletes, respect the humanity of both of these women, and as I said, allow them to compete. Now, the WNBA and the other stuff that has come behind this, that's a separate issue. But I do think on this level, it's love here, it's respect here. These are both
Let's get
great
to that
athletes.
other
I'm so
issue.
glad you said that because apparently
Let's
the
get to that
respect
other
is
issue.
not happening. And that's where I want to go because the WNBA released this statement, guys. The WNBA strongly condemns racism, hate, and discrimination in all forms. They have no place in our league or in our society. We are aware of the allegations and looking into the matter. These were the hateful fan comments during the Fever's home win against the Sky. Renee, your reaction.
So this is a reaction from last year, some of the issues that the players brought up. We are used to hearing all kinds of things under the sun when you are a professional athlete, but some things like making death threats or just wishing some things ill, players that are suffering through illness or trying to recover, like coming up and trying to ruin their mental health intentionally in a way that threatens themselves as professionals. Like the players addressed it last year. And in response, on draft night, the WNBA announced that they have a task force to help, move forward with positivity when it comes to the rhetoric. And we saw when the WNBA season started, all of the teams put out these statements saying, we have no place for hate in this game. The number one thing is respect. Now it is tested, so early in the season, because what people are saying is that what was said or allegedly heard was out of bounds, and now the league, I'm happy, is investigating it as a move forward from what the issues were from last year to now better correct them moving forward. I'll lastly say this. When you see that statement about how there should be no racism, no hateful rhetoric, if you have an issue with that statement, take a look in the mirror. Why are you there? Why are you here? If you're saying, oh, well, this is that, we should all agree. This should not be a debate. And if you are a part of a group of fans where, all right, this happened in my arena, you should not want to condone that type of thing. We've seen it in all professional sports. We've seen multiple statements like this happen in different leagues. So if you see that, you should stand by it instead of criticizing it or feeling insecure about it. And I think that's the most important thing.
Before you jump in, Monica, I just want to make clear that the context of these remarks weren't entirely clear. I just want to make sure we have that on the record as we discuss it.
Yeah, but and kudos to the league, they're making a point to support and believe their players, right? We're at least going to look into it if our players said that they were uncomfortable. Look, S.A., and you've been a part of the rise of the W in the last 3 seasons or so. I really grapple with, is this the other side of the coin in terms of the attention, right? But I'm with Chiney in terms of a base level of the respect of humanity and of these athletes that are competing at a high level. I will say this, though. We have seen in the NBA, guys turn to a ref and say that's out of bounds. And folks are asked to leave the arena. And so I think the respect for competition, the respect for sport, the respect for one another extends beyond the players that are on the floor. And I applaud the WNBA for taking active steps to make sure that their players feel heard and safe.
And I'd be remiss to not use the opportunity that Stephen A. guaranteed me when we have conversations like this to also talk about the hoop. Because New York Liberty, they looked amazing. They looked like they were poised to repeat. We were there for ring night. Natasha Cloud had a huge impact. The team that was one of the best offensive teams in the WNBA now looks like one of the best defensive teams. Kelsey Plum had a historic debut for the Golden State Valkyries home opener as a member of the Los Angeles Sparks. I don't want to talk about what happened to my Seattle squad, but it's all good. Phoenix looks great as well. Asia, impressive, even in a loss. There are so many beautiful storylines happening in the WNBA. If you respect the game and you respect the players, that's our focus.
No disagreement at all. And to the producers, leave them up on the screen because I want to look at them when I'm saying this. I'm the elder statesman of the crew here compared to this crew because I'm older than all of y'all, all right?
Combined.
And obviously, obviously as a black man, I've had certain experiences. As black people, we've had certain experiences, but black men, we speak to it on a more intimate level in certain respects. I applaud the WNBA for their statement. Got no issues with it. I get where both of y'all are coming from. Y'all 1,000% correct. I don't disagree with a syllable that y'all have uttered. But I'm not as bothered by this as most people. Let me tell you why. I'm not bothered by this because I love when folks are stupid enough to show themselves. You see, what we need to worry about. Remember, as they say, you can have cats in sheets. We see them coming. And they said, no, just take off the sheets. Some folks said, just take off the sheets. We just going to put on a suit and infiltrate and look like everybody else. So ultimately, a wider scope of people can be contaminated because you don't know who is who. See, that's what's been happening in a lot of situations. And a lot of times when we see stuff politically, sports-wise, corporate-wise, etc., what we've missed along the way is fall back and let people show you who they are.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're lamenting, and one of the things that concerns me at times is sometimes we don't need to lament it. We need to pause, stand still, chill, and let them come. Because the more you show who you are, the more you're going to find out who really, really stands with us and who really doesn't. The WNBA stands with us because they put out that statement immediately. The NBA would stand with us because they put out that statement easily. You'd have players, male and female, coaches, assistants, executives, team owners, etc. Who's going to speak up? Who's going to be quiet? What you going to say? And why don't you say more? Or why are you saying less? These kind of things edify us and positions us to fight the real fights, as opposed to being distracted by fighting little menial things that happen on the side. You can't legislate what's in people's hearts.
Yeah.
People who are trifling are trifling. People who ain't worth the damn ain't worth the damn. People who look at other people as being less, that's who the hell they are. You can spot them. I want to know who they got with them.
Yeah.
Who's your peeps?
I appreciate
and those
that,
are the kind
SA.
of things, that's all I'm saying.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
I actually appreciate that, but now I think the next step in terms of the league, the statement is great, but the league actually protecting, I don't know what it looks like to figure out who said what, but there also needs to be penalty, as we've seen on the NBA side.
I'm just saying that I don't know if you can legislate what's in people's hearts. So
I agree.
the other alternative is let them have the freedom to express their heart, so we'll know who they are.
Yeah.
And then we'll know how to deal with them.
Quote, when people
Or rather, who to
say
deal
their
with.
heart, believe them.
Yeah.